Welcome to Travels with Geordie. If this is your first time to our channel, this is Geordie, and he lives on that old wooden motor cruiser here in Victoria, British Columbia, all the while tolerating me making it into a sandy mess. Anyway, if that's the sort of thing you might be interested in, consider sticking around and subscribing. We'd love to have you aboard. Hey, Pop! And just like that, 2 days go by. Well, real life work does sometimes have to take priority. Okay, so really close here. Just got to put it together, get some oil on this, and this is going to look pretty good. Okay, let's get to it. No, that's jumping the gun. I forgot about the cabinet. There's lots to be done yet on the cabinet. We got to put the shelves in. We got to make a door. I got a little pediment piece I want to do, and some brackets at the bottom. So let's get on with that. Shelves. Let's start with shelves. I have the two pieces. That's not one of them. There we go. Just got to be cleaned up and adjusted for length a little bit. Just a tad long. Okay, let's get going on that. I'm just going to ease the front edge just a bit. Beauty. So that'll sit right about there. And let's do the other one here. Okay. I like it. Very, very nice. Now, of course, these are the fronts, not the... Anyway, you don't need to worry about that. Okay, so now you're saying, how on earth are you going to support these, Peter? You're going to drive some pins in from the outside? That's a bit hack. Adjustable shelves? Well, not quite, but I'll tell you what we're going to do. Maybe I better just show you. Okay, so I ripped a bunch of little strips of the Sabella mahogany, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to just use them as little struts in each corner, so 4 for each bay, and I'm going to just use some tiny little number 4 screws into the outside. That will securely support it. It won't take up any room because, of course, they're in the corners and glasses are round, so that's not wasted space. I'm going to ease one corner. I'm going to route it with a full bull nose so it looks kind of tidy. And it's somewhat adjustable. If I find in time that I don't like the spacing that I've set up with, well, I just take out a couple of tiny screws, I cut these, I adjust them to length, and I can move the shelves up and down. I'm not sure it's brilliant, but it's what I came up with, and it's what I'm going to do. So there we go. Measuring, I'm going to make them equivalent 8-inch spacing, which is, you're not seeing that, it's about there and there, but anyway, so these end up being inside just over 7.5 inches long. So let's cut a couple of these. And we're set. So these will just basically sit in here in the corners, neatly affixed. And then the next two, and of course there'll be some at the back as well. See if I can put this together without it falling apart. I gotta squeeze it a bit of body English on this. So there'll be one there. Yeah, I don't know sure what you're getting at. I think you get the point. Now the thing is, I'm not going to put them in now because I want to pre-finish all this, oil it all at least once before any of this goes in. These will all be oiled on all sides as well, so they'll all go in all as pre-finished pieces, because if I do adjust it, I don't want to have gaps where there's no finish. Anyway, yeah, okay, the top and the bottom. But I'll start with the door because that's going to be a glue up. So basically it's a frame, 2 stiles at the side, a rail at the bottom, and a rail at the top is going to be extra thick because I'm going to cut an arc in it. As with so many things on the boat, there's a theme of a curve. It all starts with the cabin top. So that piece needs to be a little bit thicker so we can make that curve in it. And then I'll route out a trough on the back so that I can lay some glass in it afterwards. Okay, now this is not going to be jointery. This is basically going to be butt joints that I'm going to screw through the end and bung. So pretty straightforward, no shame. Okay, let's get to some stuff here. I'm eating up this mahogany. 1.5. Okay, so I'm doodling up a couple of brackets here. Got some ideas percolating. Let's see what we got here. Yeah. I got something. Curve there, that'll come out of there. And I need something big and round, like a paint can or something. Paint can. Is it exactly the right radius? Pretty darn close. Let's have a look. Not quite. Ah, perfect. Just perfect. That'll come right down there. I love it. And we get 2 out of the same block. There's 1 down. 2 beautiful mission style brackets. They're actually almost exactly the same size. Pretty cool. And they'll go, they'll go underneath. Whoop. Anyway, you'll see. Just need to be cleaned up a little bit. All right, keep moving. Okay, so getting geared up to draw another arc here. I've got the tape hooked around the door jamb down in the other cabin. So I'd like to get about, about 3/4 of an inch of crown in this. So I need a little more, so I come to here. Okay, I'm on a closer door jamb now. Let's say 5'4". What does that give me? 5'6". I'm liking the look of that. 5'6" is it. That'll do. That's my arc right there. There we go. I'll be able to fake the rest of that. Okay, good. I'm liking that. Beauty! A little sandpaper on that and that will be a perfect arc. So let's see what we think of it in place. I'm going to have to do a notch around this member here, but that's okay. God, the wire's driving me nuts. Okay, so obviously that would be too high. It would hit the cabin top. So I know I got to bring it down to about there. Somewhere there. Yeah. So that's what... well, I'm not really thrilled with this. I actually had to tighten the curve a little bit so that it would actually even fit because I wanted it to be relative. Anyway, whatever. I didn't make the scribe really tight either because I didn't want it to look built in. I wanted to... Anyway, I'm happy with it. So let me tell you what my plan is here. The idea was to create a little void in the side where this might actually be a drawer. A little drawer I can pull out and then hold in my hand, and it might have, mixing sticks, swizzle sticks, all the kinds of little things that might be associated with my beverage cabinet. Anyway, I just not sure what I'm going to do with it. I'm going to fix that part for now. Maybe a little temporary end piece. Yeah, this could go on and on. Let's put the brackets on. One thing I want to do before I attach this pediment piece to the cabinet is steel the arc. And what I mean by that is these are the pieces for the door. The big one is for the top, which will have the arc in it. So I just want to use this same arc to put an arc in this part of the door. Okay, splendid. And now I can use that to cut that out and then decide how wide I make it. Alright, so before I assemble this, I'll carry on with the door because as I mentioned, that's a glue up and I wouldn't want to be waiting for that. So here's the 2 style pieces. I'm basically just going to force them in on the sides. They should fit relatively well. Now if I make this a tight fit into here, it's no problem because then I'll just sand the edges a bit and that'll give me my clearance. So I'm working from the back of the cabinet, if you can see what's going on here. That's the door, it'll open out that way. Here's the bottom rail. Now it's way too long. So basically I just need to mark it. And I'll mark it here like this. Again, it doesn't have to be super accurate because I'm going to be sanding the whole thing smaller in a little bit. So let's cut this off at that point. Okay, so that fits very nicely in there. So now let's see if it's exactly the same width at the top. It should be, right? Close enough for me. Now, how much of this curve am I going to use? I need this much length, so I have to try and decide where on this curve I'm going to use it. Okay, I got it. I know what I'm going to do. So basically I figured out, I marked the center line of the arc, I marked the center line of the piece of wood. One thing I do have to change, if you can see, this piece of wood is rocking on here, and that gave me a clue, and I looked down the length of it and it's warped. Well, when you're making doors, you don't want to use warped wood. So this piece is out. Enter this piece. Is it long enough? Yes, it is. So let me rescribe the arc, get some things going here, and we'll pick up where I left off. Okay, let me pick up where I left off. Here's my new piece with a center line marked on it. Here is my template, which is my head piece, of course, with a center line marked on it. So I'd like to think the piece that is the top would have roughly the same width as the stiles at the top, square at the bottom, centered. I draw this arc, and I am done. Yes, sirree. Now what I do, because this arc may not be perfect, I mark it on top, I swing it around, I put it this way too, and I remark it. As you can see, it's not exactly in the same place, but the neat thing about that is when I take the saw on it and I cut the average of the two, it'll be perfect. A cut or a concave cut I can't do with the circular saw. I have to do it with the nasty jigsaw, and jigsaw is a wonderful tool, but it is about the least accurate cutting device known to man. Maybe some of you are really good at it. I get by. So I'm going to cut at least a hair inside the line so that when I sand it after, which will be painful, I get back pretty close to where I want to be. Alrighty, what fun. Okay then, well there's my door ready to go. And as I said, this is going to be seriously simple fabrication. It's going to get 2 screws in each corner, which I will then bung. But I have to be careful how close the screws get to the corner, the inside corner, because I'm going to route out dado in the backside for the glass to sit in. So I got to make sure I'm off by 1/4 inch minimum, maybe 3/8 of an inch. So that's what I'm just figuring out now. And we're off. Okay, so what do you think? I got these things. These are like they're oh my gosh. No, this isn't gonna work. No. What was I thinking? Okay, we're just gonna do a full side clamp glue up. I'm gonna put the relatively decent side in because we're gonna sand and reroute this anyway. That looks pretty good. Gonna sand and reroute. I'm not worried about that. That looks good, and that all looks good. So basically, it's just gonna be a gluey mess, is what it is. So, yeah, just gotta count on glue everywhere. That's right. Okay, so let's get some glue on here. Yada, lots of glue, because it's gonna come out all over the place. Do the other end. Yep. Lots of glue on here. Good. And do the other end. That's good. So that's just going to go there. This is going to go here. One huge advantage, and that this is ever so slightly wider than the bench, and I can't tell you how convenient that is in terms of clamping. Okay, so let's put this one on here, and then this one on here. So, and then we just got to get it square. Well, that can't be too hard. A little tapping here, a little tapping there. Get it flush. Okay, now we'll go for square. It'd be lovely if this would fit inside, but I don't. Oh my gosh, it misses by 1/8 of an inch. I put that up under there. We're good. So I'm going to say that is pretty close to square. So let's start to put a little more pressure on the clamps. A little more. Because it's always awesome if it's square in one direction and not in the other. That looks great. That looks great. Get this flush. There we go. Now again, this is all going to be sanded, so it doesn't have to be perfect, but it would be nice if it was pretty good. Now, you might say, well, how square is it really, Peter? The truth is, how square is the cabinet? And I can tell you, I can tweak the cabinet to fit around the door if I have to. But I'd rather the door was perfectly square because I'm going to buy a perfectly square piece of glass to go into it. What I'm going to do is wait for the glue to set up a bit so that I can move the clamps far enough to put some screws in. It still won't be super secure, but I like to be able to clamp directly over. If I clamp on the side a little bit, it can twist and it can open the joint a bit up here. If I want to clamp really tight, you got to be right in line with the wood. Okay, good. Okay, we're going to start assembling the cabinet. We'll start with the brackets on the bottom here. They're basically going to go in line with the outside face, and again, only by eye. It'll help because it'll cover up 2 of my screw holes that I really didn't want to be there. They'll also get a touch of glue, but I got to be careful I don't have too much because wiping it off here will not be simple, and the glue will not allow the oil to penetrate, and you'll see right away. So I've got to be super careful with just a skiff of glue. I'm going to tack it to start with my brad nailer, my stainless steel pins, but then I'll follow up with some wood screws in from the top. That'll do right there. It's amazing what that will do. In fact, that's too much. Alright, that's tacked. It's not going anywhere, and I got glue all over the inside, so I've got to get that off. Of course, this will raise the grain, which means I'll have to sand again, but that's okay. Excellent, that's pinned. Put some screws in a bit. Okay, now I'm going to put a little ledger across the bottom, basically just a 3/4 by 3/4 piece in here, that I can screw the whole cabinet to the bulkhead with, which will give it the basic strength, hold the main thing up. So just got to cut a piece to go right in there. And nice. Pediment piece on, I'm kind of torn about this. I was planning on making it permanent, gluing it and pinning it, and if I had a little drawer in behind, you know, I would deal with that. But it may be that this is actually just part of the drawer. This whole thing just slides out and I build a drawer around it. But I don't want to think about that right now, so I'm just going to tack it on for now, and yeah, we'll call that done. All right. And let's put a couple more just to pretend it's permanent. Always praying that none of these pop out in the wrong place. Okay, so that is on there. Granted, it is only just tacked, not so good. But that's making the cabinet, if I could tip you up so you can see that, pretty close to done. Hey there, welcome to the Beer of the Week.
Beer of the Week.
We just started up kind of hard and fast. This is Elliot.
Pleased to meet you.
How are you, Elliot?
I'm good.
Thanks for coming and visiting.
Thank you.
Elliot just bought a boat. Not only did he buy a boat, he bought a wooden boat. Tell us about it, just a quick bit.
It's a double-ended wooden ketch from 1937.
Yeah.
It's got a nice stay sail, so it's a manageable boat.
Right.
Kept by shipwright owners, which is what I need.
Awesome. Sounds really nice. I've seen some pictures of it. Maybe we're going to show you some pictures right here. Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, ooh, oh, it's pretty awesome. Now we got to get him to send it to me. Okay, so this is Beer of the Week, so we're going to drink a beer. We're going back to Driftwood, actually my favorite brewery here, and we're drinking the
Muna.
Yeah, how would you pronounce that? Yeah, we don't know either. Anyway, it's a milk stout. I've never had it before. It's my favorite brewery, Driftwood. We have actually just returned from Spinnaker's, but we thought, having done Spinnaker's last week, we would try something different. So we're going to fire this up, see what we think of this. I have to apologize to Mike. I left my special handmade opener out in the rain, and it's a bit rusty, but we'll deal with that. Okay, so Elliot, what do you think? It's going to be a stout?
Let's go for it.
You know, Elliot and I talked all afternoon that there's really only one stout in the whole world. And so we never would review, or at least Beer of the Week, a stout, and look what we've done. We've had a stout. There you go.
I'd push for this stout because I do like a stout and an independent brewery, but there's some big stigma about going away from Guinness.
Yeah, exactly. So this is going to have to be damn good to catch my attention. Oh, crikey. I kind of overpoured me. That's you, man.
Oh, all right.
There you go. Okay. All right. So,
cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks for having me.
We'll see what we think of this.
I like it. It's not nitrous-y like a Guinness. It's not so smooth. It's tasty. Yeah, yeah.
It's a beer. It's nice.
Mm.
Sorry, Driftwood, but I would say that's the problem. Stout. It's so loaded. I mean, you know, the bar to meet with a stout is so high. I've never had a stout that.
Maybe we don't know what a stout is.
Maybe we don't.
Maybe Guinness is just some creamy, smooth, dark.
Damn good. I have some downstairs. Anyway,
Steady.
let's enjoy
Cheers.
this while we have it. Also, this is a good opportunity, as always, to thank this week's new patrons, which is who are Brian Macalonis.
Brian.
Yep. Chris from San Francisco, and Allure, which I assume is a boat name. Thank you all for joining in and stepping aboard. So grateful to have you. Cheers, mate. It's
Cheers
great,
again.
great to have a good chat today.
Thanks for having me on.
Good fun. Yeah, I don't know.
I like it.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's not a stout. I like it. It's tasty.